Trailblazers. Welcome back to Insights by Outside X, a one-stop shop for all things IPM here at DOMS Nalsar. So guys, today we have two of the most academically brilliant people here on campus. First off, we have Astha Deep from the batch of 2027 from the IPM course. She has been a CLAT rank holder, has received admission from NLU Patna and various other NLUs. She qualified for the interview round of IIM Rohtak. She has been a national level debater, has done various moot court competitions. She's been part of many case study competitions and was part of the top 20 in Delhi Technical University's case study competition. She has had published an international journal on international research paper on ADR and has been editor for various other journals. And on the other end, we have Priyabrat Das from the batch of 2026. He is a senior of mine. He did his secondary education from the Level Field School, which was founded by an IIM Ahmedabad alumni. He has received a full score in SAT subject test for Maths Level 2. He has received advanced placement for microeconomics, which are used for US colleges, a full grade of 5 and 5. And he has received many SAT waivers and has qualified for the interview round of IIM Rohtak and IIM Ranchi. So thank you. Also, guys, a fun fact, both of these people are top 3 in their batches, in their respective batches. So thank you so much, guys. I mean, it's my privilege, and I hope to learn all of the things that you share here today with us and imbibe it, if not anything else. So, I mean, I want you guys, you guys have traveled, have had a big journey coming here and giving a lot of competitive examinations and of very different kinds per se. So talk to me about the process that goes into sitting in a case study, in a competitive examination and then coming to a college. So what is the process of cracking that competition? Priyabrat, why don't you take this?
Okay, thank you for your introduction again. So first, I will start with all the necessary work which we did. Basically, I will have to talk about my experience itself. So studying, I had the privilege of studying in a very good and unique school,
Right.
Unconventional school. Was affiliated to the Cambridge board, so never had any pressure on which PCM to choose or PCB to choose.
Right.
Parents did not pressurize to become engineers, neither did the school, so
Okay.
was lucky on that front. After that, I would say building meta skills was what we focused on. The
Okay.
school focused on primarily till about, till date basically. So we got our first textbooks, I remember, in maybe class 8th or 9th, right? So you sit for competitive exams, but you need to have couple of things fixed with you.
Okay.
Those are your, reading skills, critical thinking,
Right.
problem solving abilities. So once those are built, the subject like anything, physics, biology, mathematics,
Right.
economics, anything will be much easier to solve, right?
Right.
So the first couple of years were focused on that, and later on we knew that once these were built, it will be much easier to crack entrance examinations. So then only, we did 1.5 years of preparation, good solid preparation every day, and that's the result, and that's the path to get good results.
Right. I think SAT also tests a lot on your meta skills as well.
Yes,
you agree?
definitely.
Yeah.
Indian exams, I would say, test some hardcore skills like
Right.
difficult problem solving abilities.
Right.
But SAT on the other hand is very fundamental in nature, so a much better exam to give any day.
Right. So what about you, Astha? Since you have been on the Indian end of this entire journey, so what was your process through giving CLAT and then IP MAT as well? So how different was it, and how much do you agree with Priyabrat here?
I agree on most tangents
Yeah.
of how Dada went about. I believe that I'll take it as how do we transition from the school to the college and the mid journey in between. So competitive exams are very different from academic exams of the school. You get in academic exams you get a defined version of what are you going to be asked,
Right.
and that's how you have to be very pertinent of what are you studying, and that's how you'll be questioned. But in the competitive exams per se, your skills and how your understanding of a topic from ground level, your pressure management,
Right.
of how are you able to tackle with the paper, sums, and that mental bandwidth of how much can you extend your critical thinking capacity
Right.
of juggling between questions and questions that you can leave,
Right.
not leave, knowing what are the what will be the implications of negative marking as well.
Okay.
So I think competitive exams are very different. They're not just what is there in the syllabus, what is there in the broad syllabus is tested, but also how well can you handle the pressure. So when I gave CLAT and IP MAT both, I was not very sure that I will pursue management or I will pursue law. I would be okay if I would
Right.
get into either domains in a very good college, which
Right,
I'm
right.
glad I'm here giving the interview. While giving CLAT and IP MAT, I could understand that they test a lot of critical thinking
Right.
ability and the basics of maths, and then extending it to a level that how much can you build upon it,
Right.
and how much questions are you willing to compromise
Okay.
to fulfill a specific marking. You know, we have sectional markings as well, so person should be very well versed with how much should I score, so that you know I'll be done
Right,
with.
right,
I'll be there in the I'll be off in the list. You know, I'll be
Right,
there.
right.
My name will be there in the list. Now, the more marks or the more questions I attempt will be for a rank.
Okay.
So that's how you think. In the academic paper, you don't think like that, right?
Right.
You have to attempt all the questions, or you try to attempt all the questions. In the competitive exams, you don't think like that.
Right.
So that's
That
how.
is true. I mean, like the entire thought process that goes into both sitting for both of these exams is very different in the very first place.
Agreed.
And what I find is very interesting is like, especially for Priyabrat, you had a very different kind of class 11th and 12th, and a very different kind of outlook into streams, and which is very typical of an Indian experience. And you also, Asta, you have been flexible. Like it could be the law or it could be management as well. And you so when we enter into 11th, 12th and a typical CBSE student or an ICSE student, we are forced into sort of, I mean, we have to make a choice. It's a crossroad, either commerce, either humanities or science. We're put into these boxes and shells. So while coming into IP, I mean, even, you know, in management also there is specialization. So since you both have had a very different great school life, so was there any sort of specialization in mind that you had while you were entering the IPM program here, or are you still in the process of pursuing it? Or I mean, what has been the experience? Priyabrat, why did you
So, had you asked me this question maybe back in class 7th or 8th, I would have said I don't have it yet.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, typically because that time we had only two subjects, right? English and maths.
Okay.
We were building our fundamentals that time.
Okay.
And once those became strong, you know, all the other subjects were introduced, whatever was needed for the board exams and all. So, and then when we studied all the subjects, you know, I had a knack of studying more of economics than the other subjects, and
Right.
maths was there for me throughout, right?
Right.
So, you know, you put a blend of economics and mathematics, then management fits it the best. So, my thought process was simple, you know, you play on your strengths. So, if you have a good strength, I mean, good understanding and depth of these subjects, maybe this is what will suit you the best. So, it was simple for me at least.
Okay. I mean, that's also very that helps you not be objectified to one particular field.
Definitely,
And
no
you-
confusion.
Yeah, that is so, and you're not boxing yourself,
Yes.
either. What about you, Asta? Since you have been in touch with the law side a lot, so are you trying to incorporate that into your specialization process, or are you trying to differentiate yourself in pursuing something else? What has your journey been so far?
So how I think is I don't think organically as if should I differentiate myself or should I integrate myself more to specific field.
Okay,
So
okay.
management is something that unboxes all the boxes that you put onto yourself.
Okay.
It is that unboxing process wherein one side of management, be it finance or logistics, it will test your analytical skills, and the other side of management, be it HR or operations, might test your human skills and how practical
Right.
can you get with the operations or with the employees or the management or the business in general.
Right.
So I think management is one thing that cannot be boxed. You know, everything around all that we see is some sort of management that we are dealing with. Right now we are dealing with time management, maybe someday we are dealing with emotional management. While studying, we are dealing with a different resourceful management. So I think when I came here, I thought that I might be a marketing person, but then I came with that perceived view of myself.
Okay.
And then when I came here, I thought that why should I just, limit myself to something that I think I can be? Why shouldn't I, let myself be defined with the opportunities that knock my door, and just open and welcome it, and sit with the opportunities with a cup of tea and just ask, how much can I go, how much can I tackle them,
Right, right.
and then they can form a different perspective of mine. I think
Okay.
that has helped me here. So any opportunity that comes my way, be it case study competitions, be it any event, or be it working at outside X, it has been monumental into forming my perceptions of various versions of Asta and how can she evolve. So
Okay, okay.
that's how I.
That is such a interesting thing. I mean, like, choosing specialization can be a bit about aspects of yourself, and this is something also very and Nalsar, Dom's Nalsar especially, is not your typical B school either. There is the law side that plays a huge role into the curriculum that we are surrounded with, people, the environment that we are surrounded with. So, and a lot of inspiration also that where we draw from. So, since I mean, that is it is essentially a confluence of these kind of streams in general. So, how do you guys feel the curriculum has been? Is it more of your testing more of your analytical side, or of your right brain side, or is it more humanities centric? I mean, Asa, why don't you tell me what is your opinion so far has been on the curriculum?
So I think that the curriculum is very diverse, that I can say, and all the professors, be it from the law side, coming from the law side, and subjects like mathematics that we have, political science, sociology, psychology, business studies, principles of management, and anything that statistics, research. Business research and everything. I think it's a wide domain of things that we are dealing with right now.
Okay.
And it's not just centric to like in typical B school you would just be given a specific subject that will make you less of a human, more of a toolbox. Here it makes you a creature that can be monumental and resourceful to use that tool rather than becoming a tool, I think. And the edifice of management can be only strong if we deal with the human subjects and what is management first, than becoming a than converting yourself to become a manager. You need to know what is management, how and why, what will work if you integrate yourself to the work and to the people in tandem. How will it work, how will it go about? You need to
Okay.
understand the psychology of why would a person will behave in a business environment like that. Why will a stock market crumble into pieces by the decision of an XYZ person aligned with some political ideology whatsoever.
Alright.
Not going into that domain though. But management at Nalsar humans you than just toolifying you, if lack of better words. But yeah.
That's such a beautiful way to put it. And Priyabrata, do you agree with this? I mean,
Definitely. So, I mean, summarizing what Asta said basically, so the curriculum exactly has what is needed
Okay.
to become a perfect manager or an entrepreneur. You open a business, you need to understand the psychology of the people you are serving to and the people who are working with you.
Right.
You need to understand the political circumstances of the country you are functioning in.
Right.
You need to maybe understand, you need to know and be conscious of all the ethics which are concerned and the legal articles which are relating and pertaining to your businesses. So all these are needed, right? So definitely Dom's Nalsar is providing us the opportunity to learn all those together and have a very wholesome mind, so as to when you go into the field basically that you have no other trouble and need no other thoughts or confusions in your head.
That is very interesting, and I think that the emphasis that is brought about here on talking about regulations and the policy that goes on outside, and the conversations that is garnered in a classroom that helps you become a human, humanifies you, right? So now moving on from the curriculum that we have, I think, talked pretty extensively about here. I mean, there is a big part of a curriculum would not be complete without evaluation. I mean, at the end of the day, we all sit for exam. We came here by sitting through an exam, and then we have to sit through multiple exams here as well. So we are given, I mean, so to say, 5 to 10 days before a quiz or before some sort of an examination or project. So, Priyabrata, what is your process before going into a quiz? I mean, Talk to me about it.
I mean, you
And
know what
become
I'll
remaining top 3 of the batch.
see. What I say might not be very popular or very liked actually, but my sir back in school also told about this, that you must be in a state of perpetual preparedness, right?
Right.
So any exam comes at you, you keep on studying so that there is no pressure at the end of it,
Right.
right? And maybe you'll find me actually maybe before the day of the end terms or any quizzes,
Right.
either I might be listening to songs or I might be recording some songs itself, or I might be playing cards or maybe any other game, right? So before the exam, staying relaxed is much more preferred for me,
Right.
at least,
Right.
than to study and mug up and pressurize yourself.
Okay.
So basically, if you have a free mind, you write the paper better, right? Whatever you have studied.
Right.
So I mean, there are movies also where it shows, even if you have not studied for the whole year, the last day of the exam will not make a difference, and if you have studied for the whole year, then also it doesn't make a difference, right? So I mean, 5 days, 4 days, it doesn't matter if you just continue sitting in the classes and listening maybe to 60 or 70% to what the professors say, take some notes, maybe go back and look it up
Right.
in some more depth out of your own curiosity and interest.
Okay.
I mean, it always helps. Then you'll score a 15 or 15.
Okay, this is such an interesting term to talk about, perceptual state of preparedness. So to attain that sort of perceptual state, what does your day look like then, Dada?
You know, it depends. Actually, it depends. Sometimes I may be getting up late. I mean, mostly at about 6:30. Maybe go for a walk
Right.
or do some exercises. Have breakfast. Attend classes.
Right.
There is a lunch break.
Right.
If you eat, I mean, since I'm a Bengali, if I eat too much of rice, I might fall asleep. So some days it does happen that post-lunch classes get skipped.
Right.
But I mean, mostly attendance is maintained. So, and then I sit in the library, study till about 11, 12.
Right. I think
That's
it helps that you are attentive in class too, so that
Yeah,
retain as much as you
See,
can.
I only sit in class if I have the power to listen to the professor.
All right.
Otherwise, it's of no use.
Very true, very true. Asta, tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how close do you get to a perceptual state of preparedness?
No, I would not rate myself. I'd rather not rate myself.
So what's your process of preparing yourself for the
Um,
day of evaluation?
So I'd begin with what is our evaluation process, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So we have 3 quizzes in general. We have 3 quizzes wherein the best of 2 is taken, and then we have a 50 marks internal also, external exam that we have to sit for, like pen and paper exam, and then a 20 marks sort of group projects that you sit with and engage with people with deliberations
Right.
and interactions.
Right.
So with the paper in the quiz, that the 15 marks quiz that we are given, there's no fixed pattern of evaluation that this particular question will be given from this part of the section. So you have to actually listen to the lecture, if so that you don't pressure yourself into where do I get the notes from, who is the person who's actually listened and noted it down, so that you go about hunting for the resource than studying.
Right.
So I am a, I don't know, paranoid organized person. I have folders, and then within them I have small folders, and within them I have small folders wherein I'll just mark all the things I've done and the ones that I don't have to do.
Right.
I have a Notion page maintained too, and university gives us the premium, so I'm covered. So I have all the resources done, and I know where is what.
Right.
So while we have the lectures, I make sure that I talk to the people that
Right.
who are paying attention to get the doubts clear. So Dada has helped me a lot during my maths. All the terms that I have maths, Dada is the one who's taught me.
Right.
So I'm very glad I'm sitting beside him during this interview. It's an honor. So I knew that maths is my minus point.
Mhm.
Coming from a non-maths background and commerce background, I knew that this is something I need to work hard on. So I prepared myself on that beforehand.
Right.
And the ones that I can have a little leverage on, and the ones I can do better while studying a little less, I did not hunt for the resources. I made sure that I have the resources on
Right.
time, and then went for the preparation. And with me, pen, paper, highlighter is the best way to study.
Right.
I do maintain a Notion page, but I would still say the way you
You-
just highlight, circle it,
Right.
and that essence of pen and paper cannot be felt in Notion and keyboard.
Right.
That I felt. So yeah, and there's a lot of practicality that is ingrained in the questions that are given in management, I guess. So you need to be very attentive in the during the class, or know how does it connect to the real world.
Right.
You know, any question that it is posed to you, any psychology question or business question or stats question that is posed to you, you should know that, you know, the applicability of it, so you are able to better convert it into an answer.
Yeah, I think
I
that-
don't use highlighter, by the way.
Just us, Astha. Us people. I mean, like,
Us, yeah.
Astha
We are
and I-
highlighter partners.
So true. Astha and I have sat together also on laptop and compared the amount of folders, under folders, and sub
She
folders.
wins. Jigasa wins.
Yeah, I win with by clear margin.
I agree. I feel sorry for
So
myself.
I think Astha, you've pretty much said it pretty properly. The answer is to imbibe the topic, not just skim read it and rote
No,
learn it, so
that's
that
not.
you can apply it. And you should be confident in yourself to identify your weakness and work on it a little harder.
Yeah.
I know. That's a very fair way to put it. And I think I'm so glad that you mentioned about the quiz, about the indiv projects that we have, group projects. Which I think is a very interesting thing because it counts for 20% of our full grade.
But-
and it relies on not yourself but everybody around you.
Yeah.
So and it's such a game changer to your grade, and it can either make it or break it. I mean, like 50 marks and the rest 30 you have in your hand, but that 20 can really get you from an 8-pointer to a 7-pointer. I mean, so Priyabrata, how has been your experience in
That-
dealing with these kind of group projects?
I mean, sometimes when we make our own groups, it that will not hamper. So we make our own decision. But when the teacher chooses a group for us, so what they basically do is put 1 or 2 strong people and then a couple of the moderate or the weak people on that subject,
Links, yeah.
right? So our task is to make them understand and do the assignment, so that we have a, let's say if you have a project of 20 marks, 15 marks is for the report, 5 marks is for viva, right?
Right.
So a teacher will obviously choose the person who has been taught recently, right? So we have to make sure that that person actually knows the topic well enough, even
Okay.
though he or she did not understand in class.
Okay.
We have to make sure that we have to
that
help
person
them
knows.
understand, right?
Yeah.
So that is a big task. I mean, doing the project is easy, but making them understand something might be difficult. But yeah, most of the times projects has been positive for me. I do get some 20s here and there.
That's I mean, like pulling the weakest link with you and succeeding.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
That's a very, I mean,
Empathetic.
genuinely helpful nature also. So I mean, enjoying doing that as well.
Right. Asa, what about you? When there are conflicts, especially, I mean, like there is never not a conflict with these group projects. I mean,
You
there
know.
have been instances where we see people yelling at each other in front of the library, and the librarian is like, "Why, man?" So I mean, so tell me, how do you deal with these kind of conflicts? I mean, what's your biggest learning? Also, I want to know.
It's a sweet and sour experience, to be very honest. So the sweet part is that, in the beginning, when of course when the professors make it, I genuinely feel that professors should only
Should
make
do,
it.
yeah.
Why? Because we would choose our best, the people we want to work with.
Right.
But in a corporate world, or in a world where the boss won't give you the best set of people to work with.
That's
They'll give
so true.
you with the people who are available for that set of job. So I think it teaches you that you cannot walk off a conversation. You cannot, after a disagreement, you cannot just say that no, my head is clocked, I cannot work. There is an EOD, there is a deadline that you have to meet.
Right.
So you cannot leave it undead. So even after a disagreement, that sitting on the work and getting it done, working on the disagreement or a difference of opinion, you cannot walk off a conversation saying that I don't care. It affects everyone. It affects the entire
So
group.
true.
So, during the project, the main thing is not the content and the report and the PPT that we have to make. It is bringing everyone onto the plate,
Right.
knowing that some people will contribute, others will not. The others will contribute, but not in a positive sense.
Right.
So you have to deal with that, and you cannot. And thinking that okay, if I'm contributing that much, I would expect everyone to contribute. And I think since we have worked on a few group projects together as batchmates, we have also dealt with people who will take a lot of work but would not deliver.
Right.
So to cover that part up, to
Yes,
know that
yes, yes.
you have to come to a gray area of discussion, not walk off a disagreement saying that I don't care, this is my opinion. No, if you have an opinion, the other person has an opinion, it's not a fact. You can come in a gray area and say that
Yes, yes.
let's come to a middle point,
Yeah.
find a navigator way out, and then make the project and proceed ahead with it.
And there's always I think, even I'm sure you guys would agree, there's always a scope to keep a conflict, to agree to disagree, that kind of a
Yeah,
conclusion.
to agree to disagree. Management, it ingrains that
Yes,
in
yes.
us, that you have to agree to disagree and be respectful for the
Exactly.
disagreement. In fact, the most enriching conversations I've had,
Right.
even with Dada, has been our respectful disagreements over different topics of philosophy, psychology.
Right, right.
We've talked about it on length.
Right,
And
right,
I'm
right.
glad that actually enriches you and broadens your perspective of thinking.
Right, right.
So group projects are one thing that are 20 marks, but a lot of mental bandwidth it goes.
So true, so true. I mean, like, a lot of our batchmates, and I've heard our seniors also talk about this. Please, I mean, like, the amount of energy that goes into doing that 20 mark, it should be increased, at least the weightage of it.
Agreed.
And also about these conflicts, I wanted to say this, that don't let that conflict be an elephant in the room and make that elephant be a part of the group project. It's
said.
like, deal with it and let that elephant go back to the jungle.
Well said.
I mean, that's a very poor analogy, but I had to say it. So, I mean, now, especially Priyavrata, I'm very interested. I mean, 20 marks for a group project, it's very rare. I mean, that means 5 also full for the Viva, and 15 marks you've gotten full for the project. And now, in the day and age of GPT, where everybody can generate AI content and have good quality written projects, how do you make sure that your written project is differentiated by the others? How do you maintain that quality? What's your process?
Very simple. If you write it on your own, it's automatically differentiated, right?
Right,
because
so true.
you write it on your own, so you have your own words, own thoughts, own
Opinions.
political suggestions,
Right.
opinions, whatever, right? But I mean, I know. I mean, when I'm, let's say, for a subject or two, I might have used ChatGPT in 29,
Right.
but yeah, then you know that you'll be getting lesser marks than what you have usually got, and that's. I mean, you have to accept the fact that if you are not willing to work hard and write the own whole 2000, 3000 word report yourself, then maybe you will end up getting less marks.
Less.
So if you are okay with that, you can use ChatGPT, right? And if you are not okay with that, then you can write it on your own, and try writing on your own. See, when you write those reports, one more very important thing is, you have a chance of making it to a research paper or publishing it somewhere, right? When you have that at the back of your head, then it gives you some self motivation.
That is so true.
Ki, let's take a good shot at it, and maybe we can publish it nationally or internationally, whatever the case is, right? So that is always a factor there in back of my mind, at least.
Right. That's I absolutely agree. Even I did that. I mean, a good paper was scored pretty well, and
See,
I'd hope that it gets published. in
the
a
faculty
journal.
gives you a pushing here, right?
Exactly.
So whenever,
Right.
let's say, people are doing presentations and your presentation stands out in their mind, right? They will automatically say that you can maybe start this or think about this idea
Yes,
a bit
yes.
more. Come
So
to
true.
me if you need any help.
Yes.
I'll get it published.
Yes.
So that's a big help.
That's so true. What do you think, Asta? I mean, like, since you're a very creative person, you love to write, and I'm sure these GPT articles must infuriate you.
They do.
So, I mean, like, and do you tell me, if you do use GPT? I mean, like, how do you use it? I mean,
So
what's the-
I'll first deal with group project wala part, then
Yeah.
I'll come with content writing also, because it does infuriate me.
Right.
Just saying from my heart. See, in the group projects, I have gotten a few 20 on 20, which is rare, to get to score a 20 on 20. But the fact that GPT can just be an enabler, not an innovator.
Right.
It can just enable the content or the prompt you give. It cannot innovate and become futuristic or retrospective. We should understand that, and it can just enhance our act as a catalyst. It cannot become us altogether. There's no humification in that. But I also feel that we cannot eliminate the element of GPT altogether.
Right.
Either we can learn how to use GPT in a better way to create PPTs, to get research papers or blogs done, or if we are not using GPT, make sure that we justify our value addition. We
Okay,
justify what value are we adding that differentiates us from the people who are using GPT and creating a content which is good. So while I have been writing while I do content writing for maybe journals or freelancing and all, I genuinely feel that with GPT it has become very chaotic. Many people are there in the freelancing part where they are doing content writing, and with the GP content quill botting it, and then GPT zeroing. Then what is our skill set that is differentiating our part?
Right.
So for that, I think we can humanize it more. be retrospective, introspective, and futuristic in our approach to deal with it. And and know that GPT can be an enabler as we give the prompt.
Right.
It cannot be an innovator.
Right.
I'm reiterating that part.
Yeah, that is so true. It's like use GPT to make yourself better, but like at the end of the day, your value contribution, even the professors realize that, and they can
You
see
must
it.
read what you, even if you do take help from ChatGPT and such tools, you must read what they have written, right? Once you read them, I think you might imbibe the style of and the
Writing, yeah.
and fluency and their
Yes.
style, all of that, right?
That's
So reading what ChatGPT and all such tools give as answers is also a very big plus point there, right?
And honestly speaking, that even Sam Altman knows, and all the CEOs also know that it is taking away a lot of jobs. So we as managers know that a lot of jobs that are a little clerical and that are just, they will go away. The ones that AI can or generative AI can handle. So we need to have a differentiator. We need to have something that separates us. Has a value addition. And I genuinely feel that as students, we should start understanding that either to learn GPT in a better way, or to know what different can we do to make our make our CV, or make our personality, or make all the writings that we do different.
Right. I absolutely agree with the both of you. It's like, I mean, these tools has made human life easier, but then again, we humans have not made redundant totally yet. So don't make yourself redundant totally.
Agreed.
So now moving on from these kind of projects, the big thing that at the end of the day comes to show your true merit, so to say, the 50% of the grade is the end term exam. And with the end term exam, which is a pen and paper test, there comes a lot of cheating also, right? So I mean, how do you deal with that? Do you associate anger with it? I mean, it's an issue. It's an issue. A lot of these kind of malpractices also, kill your spirit when you are trying to sit for a paper with the honesty that you go with it. Priyabrata, what is your opinion on this?
See, first of all, I mean, no exam is good enough to test all your skills and all your worth, right?
Right.
So if you have that at the back of your mind, then you sit for an exam, even if it doesn't go well, then the others will go well. Or if all of them go well and good for you. But I mean, if people are cheating, I mean, at one point of time you might be frustrated because you are putting the hard work, and when some people don't consistently, at times it becomes very, some people actually need it, I mean, they understand, some people might have difficulties understanding some subjects, and that's okay. But if you consistently keep on doing it, then it might be a problem for people who actually put the effort into doing it, right? So that is what I mean, not too much care into that, otherwise you will lose what you have learned, right? You just need to learn the subject, and if you can on the way help others learning it, that's it.
I think focus on the greater goal here. Don't involve yourself with these.
That's not even a goal, I guess.
Exactly.
There is only one goal. You learn and make sure that the others can also learn. Simple.
Right. I mean, learning is an altruistic process,
Yeah.
not a very selfish process. Then about these cheating aspects only. Also, I want to know. I mean, like when some people do commit these kind of malpractices. So within this realm, how do you ensure that your competitive advantage is over that individual? I mean, like factoring. It's like suppose a factor of error that this is the thing. How, in spite of this, you still overcome and beat that top 3. How do you do that?
So, see, to get that specific marks, there are two parts. The one that is shorter, the one that is longer. The longer hours, the longer effort, the longer mental bandwidth. And the short hours, the short effort, and the shorter sense of achievement and satisfaction. For me, I associate study or work also in general, and the ones who worked with me would also know, and the ones I look up to, the people who are the ones who are here, the professors who are here, or the ones in the management domain, or anyone who is doing good. I see it in a very satisfactory, or that in a way that it brings a lot of satisfaction, and the way that it soothes my soul. It is something that is within me. It is work and effort and work ethic.
Right.
It's something that should come intrinsically. If someone is choosing to do something else, a cheat or a GPT cannot beat human effort.
Right.
Okay, one cheat cannot define if someone can be better than me, and one prompt of GPT cannot define my human hours. Cannot defeat my human hours. So I know that there are times that I've gotten less marks than the ones who might have GPT or who might have using some sort of cheat or whatever, which is okay. You cannot pull us around saying that why this is the wrong path. It is very subjective. I cannot say it's absolutely right, or I cannot say that, of course. But there'll always be corruption in the world. There'll always be some sort of inequality in the world. But what we can do is not be a part of it.
Right.
So, not be a part of it, for me, it is more of inner satisfaction. I derive a lot of inner satisfaction by studying, highlighting, knowing that I know, and the way I think. It brings a lot of happiness to me.
Right.
It is not just an exam for me. So that's how I think it is. There's a lot of discussion that has I've discussed a lot, that it sometimes feels bad that I am also putting that effort, but in a very long hours.
Yeah.
But someone else might not, but they are they might get more. But at the end of the day, if you sit in a cat interview, for example, or you sit into a fruitful deliberation, how will you add to it?
Right.
Will you add the chit that you brought to the examination, or will you add the mobile phone that you GPT'd with?
Exactly.
So I think it's a very long term thing
Right.
to think about.
So I think so move away from the instant moment of anger that you feel and look at the
Gratification,
and the bigger
gratification.
goal that you
Get a
have.
good deal for yourself, basically, at
Right.
the end of it, right?
Yes.
So management get a better deal for yourself.
All right. So guys, as now in concluding all of this, I want to ask, in an aspirational point of view, does being a first bencher matter? I want to know, because if it is, I have to make some changes in my life.
I have been a front bencher, middle bencher, last bencher, all three of them
Okay.
at some points of my time. But yeah, I think first benchers do matter. I'm just saying this because you have less distractions in front of you, right? You look at the teacher and you look at the board when you're a first bencher, versus you have 50 other people to look at and their activities, whatever is going on in the class, right? So only from that perspective, being a first bencher is better, to bring in more attention and to be more attentive. Let's say if you're not being able to do one subject, rather than avoiding it and putting your earplugs on and sitting in the last benches, maybe you can come for a week and then you will see the difference. I have been through all three.
And I think also the professor notice you more. Does that also impact at the end of the day? I don't know.
It does, definitely it does. See, professors also bring their own connections, their own help, except for the class timings also, right? So, sitting, for an example, so we had our first 2 trimesters online, right?
Right.
So, very few, maybe 2 or 3 people used to keep their videos on. I was one such person. So, if you get noticed by the professors, then when you came offline, when your offline classes started, you always get a head start and help from professors about what all things you need and all. So it does definitely help. But not only first benchers get that, other people also get that who are participating in the classes, right? So that is what the thing is. It's not only limited to the first bencher, and being a first bencher does not assure it until you are actively participating or listening.
Okay, even if in first bench you have your laptop on and getting distracted,
Definitely.
no point.
You'll get more scolding than backbenchers get.
That is true. So I think this has been truly amazing and really insightful. There are some things that I would really take back from here, and I love the fact that we are ending this on the note saying that learning is altruistic. And I think, Priyavrata, you should get a merch saying perpetual state of preparedness. You should get it
Definitely.
copyrighted
Next time.
next time. So guys, this has been it. Thank you so much for tuning in, talking about acing academics with Astha Deep and Priyavrata Das. Thank you so much. Goodbye.